When I was 16, I found myself on the cusp of a memorable spring break adventure with my two close friends, Evan and Jake. We decided to seize the opportunity to rent a hotel room for the night, eager to make the most of our break. After checking in, we couldn't help but notice the rather peculiar odor lingering in the air, but we shrugged it off and settled into our room. With the clock ticking around 3 p.m., we decided to hit the hotel's pool to cool off and bask in the sunny afternoon. The pool was located downstairs, separate from the main hotel area. However, as we approached the entrance, our carefree mood was instantly dampened by the sight of a tall figure, at least 6 feet 3 inches tall, clad entirely in black and shrouded by a hood. He was facing us, and though I panicked inwardly, I managed to keep my composure. We ventured into the pool and spent a few enjoyable hours splashing around. To our surprise, the enigmatic man in black reappeared, still seated in a chair by the poolside. My unease grew, and I cleared my throat, mustering the courage to address him. Can I help you, sir?" I asked, but there was no response, and my paranoia deepened. Attempting to shake off my fears, I submerged my face in the water, only to spot another unsettling figure at the pool's bottom, cloaked entirely in black. I screamed, my voice betraying my composure, and raced for the exit. When I glanced back, there was no trace of the man in the chair or the figure in the pool. My friends dismissed it as my imagination running wild, but I knew I had seen something inexplicable. Feeling too unnerved to continue swimming, I suggested that we grab dinner at a nearby restaurant. We secured a table, and it was then that I spotted the man in black once more, on the far side of the dining room, staring directly at me. My patience wore thin, and I decided to confront him. However, he eluded me, slipping away as I approached. My frustration mounted. As the evening advanced, I was increasingly convinced that our spring break trip had taken an eerie and uncomfortable turn. My friends, on the other hand, were hesitant to leave early. We returned to our hotel room around 10:30, and as exhaustion began to overtake us, we drifted off to sleep. Suddenly, I awoke to mysterious sounds and noticed a shadowy figure lingering at the foot of my bed. In an attempt to calm my racing heart, I convinced myself that it was my hat, which I had placed there earlier in the night. I settled back in bed, only to be jolted awake again 30 minutes later, this time to more unnerving noises. Thirsty, I reached under the bed, groping for my water bottle, but my hand met something entirely unexpected. It was my hat. Panic gripped me as I realized I was not alone in the room. In a moment of sheer terror, a voice beside my ear whispered, "You're a mine." I leaped from my bed, confronting two men dressed entirely in black. Desperation fueled my resistance, but their strength overwhelmed me, and I found myself dragged from the room. I tried to scream, but one of them muffled my cries. The world went dark, and I only regained consciousness while being transported on a stretcher. I learned later that these two men had harmed me while I was unconscious, but miraculously, someone had apprehended them. Still, the doctor's words were gloomy. No one could identify or locate these mysterious assailants. To this day, I keep a nightlight on, dispelling the darkness that once haunted my nightmares, ensuring that I'm never truly alone in the shadows. When I recovered from that terrible accident, I decided that I would never again travel without support and safety. I always carried a flashlight with me, so that even on the darkest nights I wouldn't feel alone and helpless. That night in the hotel changed me forever. I became more alert and cautious, constantly observing my surroundings. But it was because of this that I avoided many unpleasant situations in the future. My friends, though they did not share my fear at first, became more cautious after this incident. This event also encouraged me to study self-defense and safety. I began taking martial arts classes and learning how to react in case of danger. My goal became to ensure my own safety and the safety of others in situations where it was threatened. Over time, I learned to overcome my fear and use it as motivation for personal growth and protection. Although that terrible incident in the hotel is still a nightmare in my mind, it also made me stronger and more determined to ensure my own safety and the safety of those I love. Over the years, I have continued to improve my self-defense and security skills. This hotel incident was the starting point of my interest in the topic of safety and security. I began to study various aspects of security, including first aid, self-defense, and even crisis management. I attended courses and trainings where I learned how to respond in various dangerous situations. These include wound care skills, wilderness survival, and how to avoid potentially dangerous situations. I became a person who always carries a small first aid kit and knows how to use it. In addition, I began to study the psychology of fear and anxiety. Understanding how fear affects our behavior allowed me to control my reactions in stressful situations. I realized that fear could be used as motivation to respond more effectively to danger. Eventually, my dedication to safety and security led me to become an expert in the field. I began conducting safety seminars and trainings for others, sharing my knowledge and experience. My goal became not only to ensure my own safety, but also to help others. That terrible incident in the hotel changed my life, but it also made me stronger, more prepared for life's challenges, and ready to protect myself and others in case of danger.